Right. And, the thought of bad in itself is so detrimental to people, dude.
That's what I think I'm good at, is being able to talk guys out of their slumps.
Right. I'm pretty just generally positive guy, too. Let's see. We want this screen. Hey, can you guys over there see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, cool. This video gets me so pumped. Dude, I watch it once a week.
It's awesome. It's an awesome video.
He was a Navy SEAL, you guys. So, like, when he's talking about this is good, he's talking about, like, death.
Yeah, like being shot out in the field.
Yeah.
Or training.
There you go. Like, yeah, this video gets me pumped.
Hell yeah. Oh, but we can't hear it.
Oh, you can't? Hold on. I can't do that. Oh, I know what to do. 1 second.
Fucking old picture, dude.
Maybe not. You guys might not be able to hear it.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm gonna have you guys. I'll remind you. I'm gonna shoot a text to watch it. We're gonna watch it here after our class, and I'll tell you guys to watch it together. But because I wanted to watch it.
That shit is so awesome.
All right, so yeah, I mean, it's all about mindset. Attitude is everything. The last thing I'll touch on when it comes to that is, I don't care what religion you are or what you believe as a person. Personally, I know for a fact, just from personal experience, the physical world is very little of what is actually happening around us, right? And I'd say the minority percentage of what is actually happening. And humans are naive to believe that all that is real is what we can see physically, right? So, and what I'm talking about is energies and positivity and manifestation, right? So everything starts with the energies you put into the universe. If you want something, you want to be something, believe you are that thing, those energies go into the universe and the wheels start turning and then it becomes true. So what I'm talking about is at the door, right? How unseen energies can affect your day. Doors are getting slammed in my face. I'm getting not interested, quick nose. It's because that's what you're expecting, right? So if you go out there and you just smile and you realize it's very simple what we're doing. I'm helping this guy out. Be very positive. Every house I saw that really needed something, before I walked up to it, I would be like, oh, this is a lead. I know this is a lead.
Yeah.
You guys already gotten to that point in the field where you can Babe Ruth it.
Yeah.
Point it, and then, but yeah, so like just putting those thoughts in your own head can form and shape your reality or whatever this is that we're in, right? So red sheets. All right, so let's get into it. Red sheets are so crucial to you as a manager in your van bonuses. How I teach my red sheets. So I know you guys go over this. Do you guys go over this briefly in your training?
Yeah.
So red sheets are not something that need to be a standard across reps. Actually, red sheets are typically pretty personal. And mine, as I was in the field, got more and more personal to where, I was probably the only person that could read my red sheets. But let's do how I would do a red sheet first to show you guys. So let's say we are on I'm walking down Campbell Street, right? I would put Campbell right here. I'm going to just show you guys how I did it. And then this is also show guys in the field how you do it. But let them know, develop a system that makes you excited to get into that second lap, right? So, and I'll let you know what I mean by that. So I would always fold up a piece of paper like this. Right at the top, put the date, street name that I walked down, right? Now, let's say the houses start at 2, right? Nothing happened at 2. They didn't answer. 4, they didn't answer. 6, not interested. Cross it out. 8, here's a funny one. I almost set the wife, but she said, my husband's the guy to talk to, really. Come back after 5. Spoke.
Nah, that's a lead.
2. Well, I'm
No,
saying,
I'm playing.
I'm saying, like, even if it died on the phone,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's pretend that we put it on the phone. She was just like a little bit like, I got to talk to my husband. Then it died on the phone.
Mhm.
What I'm doing here, spoke to wife after 5 p.m. This is what I would do for mine. And then what I would do is windows, roof, or siding, whatever they needed, right? And then I'm going to put a star. That's a re-knock for me. Now, 10, say I go there. Nobody answered, but they had seal failure on their windows. Windows, I know what that means. Windows seal failure. And this is just how I did it. My stars on the right just meant re-knock for need, re-knock for I talked to somebody to the left, right? And then 12, guess what? I set this guy, right? Put him right here. It was actually the John Jones. Right? And then I carry on down the street, right? Now, let's just play this out a little bit here. Let's say you talk to these people, set that guy. So let's look at my rate sheet now, right? Imagine my whole 100 houses marked up like this, right? In this scenario right here, I started off the day really juicy. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 qualified talk tos, and I set 2 of them. Now I'm going back on the second lap, right? I spoke to this wife. This lead died on the phone earlier, right? Now I'm going back there to set the husband and telling him, hey, we're already seeing John Jones. You see how that works? It just strengthened me going back because this didn't exist before I spoke to the wife. If it did, I might have been like, well, we're seeing John tomorrow. You know, why don't we just come by when your husband's home after work tomorrow? You know, but now I have this. I already spoke to the wife. I have this all on my sheet, right? So I took lunch and I go back out. I'm walking down Campbell. Oh, I spoke to that wife. Oh, that house had seal failure with the star. So this sheet, when I go into my second lap, has stars all over it. And every time I turn down a street, I'm like, oh, I got all these stars plus everybody I didn't talk to. And every star I see on my second lap, like this, I'm walking up. What do you think my mind is doing? Lead. That's a lead.
You know what you want to pitch, you know, we got
Right.
a story. Yeah.
Seal failure. They had seal failure even on your second lap. You don't even have to look at the house. All you had to write was WSF. Oh, they had seal failure. Guess what? I set John Jones. Going back, say you set this guy on the second lap, and this guy had seal failure. You set both of the neighbors. Come on, you're setting all of them. Now let's look at a different scenario here, real quick. Let's say first lap, you set nobody all the way till lunch, right? Now, let's say, so sometimes on your first lap, talk tos are a little bit sparse, right? So let's say out of your 100 houses that you hit on your first lap, you actually only totaled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 qualified talk tos. Sometimes it plays out like that, right? Now, when you get that rate sheet, so say this rep had 0 leads on his first lap, 6 talk tos, but they knocked their 100 houses. Lunchtime comes around, he's struggling. He's like, man, I can't get a lead. I can't get a lead. What's going on? Let me see your rate sheet, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dude, it's the first lap. You only talked to 6 people. They don't know that unless you show it to them. Like, oftentimes they're like, I don't have a lead yet. And you're just like, dude, you talked to 10 people. It's the first lap. You're not going to talk to a lot of people, right? So this can give you that information to just make it real. Look, it's not as bad as you think. You know, like your next 1 or 2, you're going to get a lead. And look at all the stars you have, bro. Go back in there. Trust me. Like, you barely talk to anybody in there. So that's how you can use red sheets. This is how I did my red sheets. However you do your red sheets, teach it to the guys while you're in the field. There's no real way to teach this while you're in a classroom because every house might have weird notes, you know, some upgraded windows, roof looks old, missing shingles, siding is dirty, whatever it is, you know, and that's very valuable to show your guys at lunchtime. But at the end of the day, you should make it a regular thing to collect res sheets, not to be an asshole, because I mean, this is going to make them more money. You're actually helping them out. You're being somebody who's going to help them make more money. If you, in your van rides, I know managers aren't doing it now, but if you in your van rides started day one today, went out in the van ride, said, hey, everybody, I'm going to collect res sheets at the end of the day moving forward. I can provide you guys with folders to put in your van that says res sheets. You guys, Dylan can. And the reason to do that and collect res sheets at the end of the day is, any ideas?
Just to see how they're performing, like, and give them advice on what they can do better. Or
That's number two.
okay.
What do you think is the number one reason you collect res sheets? What happens if your guys aren't keeping res?
Puts them into a
Accountability.
Routine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Accountability.
Right. So there you go. That was the answer I was looking for. Who said that?
I did, Jacob.
You did? Yeah. Let me is that coming from you?
Yeah, it's from the
I'm gonna turn you up because I'm gonna give you a classroom point here too. Say something real quick, Jacob.
Yo, what's up?
There we go. That's better. Yeah, so accountability. And I'll explain a little bit more about what I mean by that. By the way, your points for showing up. Is Marco over there? He's there.
Yeah, Marco's here.
Yep.
Yeah. So by accountability, what I mean is here's another question for you. I'll give a point if you get it right. What can your reps not do if they don't keep reps?
Do the second lap. They don't know what doors they hit and didn't hit.
Look at that. He's stacking up today. Right. So when you are doing this, collecting res, it holds them accountable, means that they can't say, oh, I hit all this. They may have hit all this. That's what they're supposed to do on the first lap, but you didn't talk to nearly anybody, right? So if at lunch and you're about to put them back into a territory and they don't personally have res sheet for that, first time, give them a friendly reminder. Look, we do this specifically. It's what we're going to get into next year. This two-time system for you guys to make more money, for us to make more money. It's the most efficient way to do it. For today, I'll get you in something else, right? Because you don't know who you talk to and stuff. You don't have res sheet, but it's going to be the last warning. Like, you need to keep res. Trust me, man. You'll see how it works. Have that talk with them, right? Then if they do a first lap and then again, they don't have res sheet and they say, I already hit all this. I don't have res sheet. I can't hit my second lap. See it. Like, you're going to have to try to remember. They'll learn, right? And if they don't fall into place, that's fine. See you later. We don't need you because you're not doing it right. You're not maximizing the territory. These are the little things that separate us from every other company that does what we do, right? Is we're maximizing stuff. We're thinking about it smart. We're letting maps cool. So collecting the res at the end of every day, one, we'll just hold them accountable, make sure that they're doing it every day. So you can't hear oh, I don't have res sheet, I can't rework this, right? And then what Mike said is it's going to help you direct your training. So let's say a rep struggled, right? They had 40 talk tos. Damn. One lead.
That's a lot of talk to. So
They're not even getting through there to get 40 talkers.
40 talk tos, one lead. I used to get, this used to be my personal goal every day in the field, not leads. And I would rarely hit 40. I'd always hit between 30 and 40 because I had a van, and we're going to get into that tomorrow. It's my favorite class. Show you guys how to use the van to your advantage and be more productive. But 40 was always my goal. If I got 40 talk tos, I knew I was getting 6 leads every single day. Usually if I had 30 talk tos. But let's say this rep was a hustler, right? 40 talk tos. He's a motivated. He's a new rep, but he only got one lead. And let's say, well, yeah, just from these two. So end of the day, he's struggling. You say, hey man, give me your red sheet. Come in a little early tomorrow. Let's look at your red sheet. Let's just see where maybe we could get you pumping. So what do you think this rep? There's multiple things that may be his issue, but start firing them off.
Lower more resistance
Yeah.
and get people to the pad.
He's not being assumptive enough.
Yeah, identify soft yeses for sure.
You kind of just give up too quickly.
Right. So all of these are definitely right. I'm going to star soft yeses because I'm going to talk about them real quick. Soft yeses, right? This is again to the unseen things in the universe. To help you guys out in the field too. I consider almost every response to whatever I say a soft yes. I consider not interested a soft yes. And I'll show you why and how. Not interested, I automatically assume now in this moment right now where I'm talking to you is not a good time. I just think it's a not interested, I'm busy right now. I just assume that myself. Oh, I got you. A lot of the neighbors were saying like, they said, I got you. A lot of the neighbors are saying like after work or the weekend's probably better. So we're coming out like as late as 7 p.m. to accommodate. Something like that will probably work better for you, right? Just from not interested. You don't know how many leads I've written from not interested to something like that will probably work better for you, right? Weekends or after 7 p.m. Just by assuming it's just a scheduling thing. And then if they're like not interested again, then I'm like confused. I'm like, it is the original roof, right? You know, then they almost feel silly. They're like, well, yeah, it is the original. Well, again, we're not looking for you to buy anything. It's guaranteed in writing, free, no obligation. It's real easy. We're in the area anyway. We're seeing your neighbor John tomorrow around 6. Why don't we swing by after? Really easy. What do you say? You know what I mean? So that was just 2 not interested in a row that you just flipped because it's all about how you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are definitely reasons why. What's a very not related to your skill? A newer rep, not fully confident yet. What may be the issue here? Or no, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Giving up, soft yes, lower resistance, just closing, right?
Might not have the rebuttals like as well as like some of the other seasoned marketers do, where
Right.
it's like instead of him just like knowing the rebuttal outright, he just ends up stammering through and then they slam the door in his face at that point.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to give Marco a point on that because he got a little bit ahead of where I was getting, and we're going to get to that one next. But just because you nailed it, one thing new reps are for some reason just scared to do is just say we're here today or tomorrow, or does tomorrow work better for you in their close. Instead, they're saying, would you be interested in that? What do you think about that? You know, like, do you want a free estimate? When that's like harder to do than just saying today or tomorrow. Every single pitch needs to end with 2 closing options, right? Today or tomorrow. Some newer reps who've never done this before get a little intimidated, feel like in their own mind this is pushy. It's absolutely not pushy. We're there to give them a service, and this is when we're around, right? But that in their head, they say the pitch perfect, and they're like, is that something you'd like be interested in? So that right there, just walking with a rep and saying, are you closing or looking at a red sheet, like, dude, every single pitch you do, are you giving them today or tomorrow? And if you don't feel, this is what I would say to my guys, if you don't feel comfortable telling me, ask yourself, you know what I mean? Because this is, if you really want to do good here and make money and be a top guy, all you have to do is say today or tomorrow. Now, that is a big one. This guy, let's say this 40 talk to's guy, 1 lead said everybody was slamming the door in my face. Right? What do you guys? I'll tell you here. So
Let me smile more.
well, there's a point. New marketers, right? Where when they're not confident in themselves, where they give a little pause in their pitch, right? Where they're like, when you're telling them what you're doing. Yeah. So while we're here, we're giving the other neighbors with the older roofs a free estimate, and then they pause there like this, like a free estimate, because they're already assuming the no.
Right.
And they're giving them an opportunity before they say today or tomorrow to be like, nah, not interested. When it's a run-on sentence. Once you've earned the right to talk at the door, you can finish what you're saying. If they're there talking to you, right? They could do whatever they want, slam the door in your face for real, but that rarely happens. But when you start talking, you don't have, I never ask them how they are because it breaks up, you know what I'm saying? It's straight through. And honestly, I would shorten from what I'm saying, free estimate to my close, so they couldn't say anything. Even if they're about to say not interested. Nope, I'm talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hey, we're just leaving some of the other neighbors with the older roof, free estimate while we're in the area. They try to talk. So we're going to be around today, or do you think tomorrow's better for you? You're talking. You didn't interrupt them. You have the right to just finish what you're saying. And you'll see that. Just saying today or tomorrow to some people is all they need. They like have a, even if they weren't thinking about it, they don't know how to say no to that. They're like, oh, maybe tomorrow. And then you build it up with the button up and stuff, you know, right? Now rebuttals definitely could be an issue with this guy. You guys think back to when you were learning everything. You learn the rebuttals, you memorize them. Takes a little bit of time until you really get them down to do them in the field, right?
You do it like
Yeah.
after you just say it and you sound like almost like a robot. You
Right.
gotta do it like have it make sense.
Exactly. So this rep here might be at this stage where he's only getting the laydowns, right?
Yeah.
And he's getting to the point where they're like, nah, I'm not really interested. Might be something for next year. And he's like, I know what to say here, but it's like, and he's just starting to try his rebuttals. So then you know that's something that you need to work on with him there.
So
Yeah.
I have something to say. Like, to be honest, I really think if I saw somebody with 40 talk tos and one lead, my immediate thought is like, he's not saying, no worries, no problem. My name is, what's your name, and shake their hand.
Absolutely.
And then immediately, because I started, like, when I first started, I would get the laydowns easy.
Right.
And then, like, once I actually started, like, hold on a second. This is the process. This is how they want me to do it. My name is Michael. What was your name, sir? And just bullshit about anything. Just jot down, I suppose you'll lead with the card. I got so many more leads just by doing that.
And you know what? That's a very valid point. Is right. So first,
Take no for an answer when you first start.
as managers, you guys will see it'll be harder with less time pitching for some people, but you will see that you will get into a rut sometimes. But if you go back to the folder, it always takes you to where you need to be. But you made a really good point. When you're training and mentoring reps, it's very useful to go back to when you started, because a lot of the same things happen to new reps, right? That helped you, Mike, right?
Yeah.
You might have a new
It
rep,
helps me today.
right? And you may have a new rep that comes in who's very like similar to you and stuff, and that advice will hit home with them. Then you may have a rep that comes in and is a little bit different than you, and that's when you really get to be a good manager. You're like, well, maybe it isn't the lower resistance because he is doing that, and then you try to figure out what it is. You know what I mean? But that's oftentimes what it is. They're just not lowering resistance, getting that handshake. Now, one more scenario here. Twelve talk tos for this rep the entire day. One lead.
He's lowering too much resistance. He's staying at each door too long.
That's a good point, actually. I knew a rep that actually did this. I couldn't understand why they were getting 15 talk tos throughout, or 12 to 15 talk tos throughout a whole day. They were just spending time with the nose. They would get caught up. People liked him naturally, so they just talked to him. And I noticed that, and he'd be like, I can't get away from some of these people. And then I developed this rep I'm referring to into just an absolute killer. But yes, so maybe lowering too much resistance. Let's do this actually. Let's say 0 leads. This is a brand new rep. They come back with their red sheet, 12 talk tos, no leads.
Well, then it comes down to how many doors they knocked.
You're gonna be skipping doors. I think no one's home.
Skipping doors, definitely.
Not being assumptive enough.
Definitely skipping doors. Jacob, what did you say?
I said it comes down to how many doors they knocked, because if they had 12 talk tos and 12 doors knocked, what were you doing for the whole day?
Say they did knock 100 doors though, and only had 12 talk tos.
100 at lunch or 50 at lunch?
100 throughout the day.
So they might have just did it.
Not being assumptive enough when he's talking.
They just no one's here. I'm moving on to the next one.
Yeah,
Tim's on to it. Tim's on to it. Expand onto that.
So like, you know,
Just put your name.
yeah, instead of like knocking twice or whatever, you knock once, you wait like 10 seconds, you don't see anyone, oh, go to the next one. It's just,
Oh, ding dong did.
Expanding on it. Keep expanding on it. You guys almost got it. I want you guys to understand. How could this guy knock 100 doors? He's a new rep. He's not confident yet. And only get 12 talk-tos.
He's not knocking around enough.
Boom!
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Almost every new rep, right when you let them go off on them by themselves, they look at the house and they're like, this room's better. And then they go up and they're, I don't know if they're upgraded or
Yeah.
And then they're out of there.
They're not confident with
Right.
the pitch.
I did it.
You gotta,
Right? You know,
I knew you fucking swap people, dude.
when I was new to this job, I did that.
But not as
Now,
well.
if I went out to the field with you guys now, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, on how I knock, right? But I'm confident in what I'm doing, especially if they need it. I pull open the storm door and I sound like a cop. Do you think they're going to come to the door if the cops are knocking?
Oh yeah.
I don't do a little jingle. It's preference though. You know, I open the storm door. I'm here, dude. And then I back up.
Right.
And then I just back up and I'm like 10 feet from the door. I'm usually looking at the windows or something when they're coming out, you know. I go to side doors. If they don't answer that door, I'll go to their side door and knock it. I'll ring it. You know, I'm not waiting there forever, but I'll tell you a quick story about when I was in Rhode Island. I was the director of marketing for a Rhode Island home improvement before I came here. And I had a canvassing crew, about 30 guys and 2 girls. And this one girl, Leilani, was just one of the best marketers I've ever met and was just so outgoing. And she was working with a rep, another one of my managers in the field one day. And there was a window that had full seal failure. It looked like milk. And the other rep, not her, went up and knocked it twice. No answer. She was like, what happened? And he came back. He was like, no answer. She went up there and banged his front door, banged his side door, banged his back sliding door.
No way.
Woke him up from a nap as he was watching TV, came out of the back sliding door and said, right? So she knew, she just had that confidence instilled in her that like, this guy definitely needs windows. Like, you know what I mean? And if you're that confident, it's like only the person that thinks they're doing something sketchy looks like they're doing something sketchy, right? For example, people that are outside, they're easier to set, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're walking down the street, working this street here, and there's a guy 4 houses down there outside of his house.
Go straight to him.
And yeah, even if he doesn't see you, start talking. Hey, sorry about you, sir. I wanted to grab you before you went inside. Let you know what we're doing out here. I didn't want to bother you.
But you before you went inside.
You know what new reps are going to do?
Knock a door.
They're going to act like they don't see him. Oh, hopefully he goes inside and I can knock quiet and he doesn't answer. So low talk twos, low leads on the day could be as simple as following them for 2 seconds and be like, dude, nobody can hear you knocking like that. Like you got to knock like you want to talk to them, right? So that's a very simple fix in this scenario here. So do you guys see all the different ways that keeping res sheets not only helps you train people, but most importantly, it helps make sure that they're working most efficiently. You're not running through maps, and that collecting them at the end of the day shows that you care about their success too. It's just going to put more money in your pockets, van bonuses wise.
So like, do you want, like, if I ever run around
Are we doing more field points?
to our people in our van, like, because a lot of them, they're doing door knocker trackers. Like I was talking to Rich yesterday. He had a door knocker tracker. He was wondering what it was. So we went over it at lunch, but you want him to try to like get the red sheet style more.
Yeah. So if you're doing a door knocker tracker, that'll tell you the same thing. But I think that
It's a more efficient way to.
yeah, I think a paper res sheet. So this is what my res sheet when I was not running van rides was like gold. Even if I didn't have a single lead on my first lap, when I was getting dropped for my second lap, I knew what street I wanted to go to. I want to go to this guy. He's back there. I know it. That roof was bad. Even with 0, because of all the stars and shit on my res sheet, like I only talked to 4 people. You get an accurate representation. You're like, 0 is not reflect the territory. It's just the talk tos I had. You believe that. You get out and you're hyped with 0, and you actually talk to the right amount of people towards on that second lap, and then you're successful. Like that was my gold. My res sheet was my gold. And that's how they should feel. Like,
They can literally just tear off a piece of the
right,
lead pad,
Right.
fold it up, and that's how I did my door knocker.
exactly. I would always have this right on top of my lead pad, and it was my goal. Like I said, then you guys as managers, tomorrow is about personal production, and you'll see how after this class, I'll teach you a lot of ways to get your personal production up while running van rides. Res sheets, when you're doing hop outs and stuff, are so useful because you do a hop out with a really bad roof, like on the main road or something, just as you're passing by and they weren't there. You go back like the last half hour of the day to all of those that you had to go back to. Say there was 7 of them. You fly around to them, you're gonna get 3 of them. Right? So it's all about, and that's how you maximize territories. Like not by working a territory once from 1 to 3 p.m. when nobody's home and then calling it done. Like that's so crazy. So you know you're expected to have 0 sometimes at lunch because of the talk tos. And none of you guys have learned the garden theory, have you?
No.
Okay, that's gonna be we'll do that next class. I'm gonna teach you guys first what's called the gumball theory. This is a super it's silly, but it's a super simple concept that will help you. These 2 theories, gumball theory and garden theory, will help you help reps understand why the 2-lap system works. All right, so gumball theory. Are 2 gumball machines, okay? Black gumball represents a yes. The white ones represent a no. And each of these gumball machines is a territory, right? Every territory, once you start understanding how many houses each rep needs, every single territory holds 4 leads. Now, you got 4 quarters down here. A and B. All right, so we got 2 gumball machines. Blacks are yes, whites are no. You got 4 quarters. Mike, where do you want to put the first quarter? A or B?
A.
All right, you put it in A. You got it now.
Damn.
Tim, where do you want to put the second quarter? You got it now. Jacob, where do you want to put the third quarter?
Hey.
You got to know. Marco, where do you want to put the fourth quarter?
I'll put it in May because statistically I should end up getting a yes by now.
So you're getting the point, right?
Yeah.
It's a simple concept, right? But if you went a quarter in A, right? And then you said a quarter in B, then a quarter in A, you're going to have less of a probability of a yes in each. Does that make sense? So a better even way to look at this is like this. Let's say you had stack A of envelopes, 100 envelopes, stack B of 100 envelopes. There was $100 bill in one of those stacks.
You're not just going to open 3 or 4 and
No,
then call it a day.
well, let's say you take from B first, right?
Right.
And it wasn't in there. There's 99 in that pile now. There's 100 in that pile. Both hold $100. Which one are you more likely to pull up?
The one
One in the 99.
Right? So
Statistically,
you're not going to go, oh, I'll take one from here. 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 If you do that, you're just going to get all those early no's, all those no's that you already invested the time to get the necessary no's in that first neighborhood to where the probability of the yeses is much higher. What happens towards the end of the day after 5 p.m.?
A lot more people come home.
Why do you think these yeses are up at the top of the gumball machine?
Yeah, that's what
You need to get these no's
you
out
need to get the nose out.
to get those yeses. Very simple concept. You guys picked up on it really quickly. Sometimes you'll see that just going over like that. So it's easier to tell the envelope concept. You know what I mean? So this gumball theory, rep comes back. He's like, dude, I had awful first lap, no leads. First thing I'm doing is Let me see your red sheet. And then it's like, oh, he actually did have a good amount of talk tos. He had 10, 12 talk tos on his first lap. Cool. So you're talking to people, you're getting the knocks in, you're 0 leads at lunch. Remember that bar, that envelope theory, right? This is 12 talk tos now in your territory, right? 12 minus 100 is what? 88. 88 envelopes here, one holds 100. 100 envelopes here, one holds 100. You're telling me you want to go into this stack of envelopes?
Right.
It's like, dude, you already put in the work to set yourself up for success here for later with your red sheet. That's out of the way, right? So, garden theory is a theory on how we work the 2-lap system. And you probably won't start with the garden theory. I am going to keep you guys for like 10 more minutes because I want to talk about, actually, you know what? I'm going to fly through the garden theory and then I'll leave it on the board and we'll go into detail about it tomorrow. All right. So the garden theory is how we work teaches reps. And this is something that I'm teaching the new class today and moving forward. All new reps. So it's how we teach our 2-lap system. First lap. It's called the gardening theory because it all relates to gardening, right? First lap, we call it pulling the weeds.
Yeah.
Planting the seeds.
Get down and dirty, baby.
What do you got to do for something to grow? You got to pull the weeds and plant the seeds, right?
And then water them.
So this is usually from whenever you get to the field. In this scenario, let's just say 12 till your break, which is the first lap. Now, on this first lap, what you are expected is 8 to 10 qualified talk tos, 0 to 3 leads. That's right. I said 0 because what I'm about to show you. What is a common thing amongst the homeowners? What type of homeowners are you talking to between noon and 3?
People are working from home.
Or it's sometimes the stay at home.
Stay at home mom. Yeah.
Moms or something.
Or
Retired people.
sorry, yeah.
I is the next one up.
How about unemployed?
Unemployed, yeah.
How about grandparents, watching kids, babysitters?
Yeah.
So work from home, obviously, definitely qualified. Stay at home could be qualified. Retired could be qualified, not our ideal customer. Unemployed, not qualified. Grandparents, not qualified. Babysitters, not qualified. What is the trend here?
Most of the people you talk to are going to be not qualified.
Most of the people on your first lap are not qualified. That's why you're pulling the weeds, but they're necessary news for you to get in order for you to be successful. They are not qualified, right? So now we look at your second lap. This is called reaping the harvest,
Oh, yeah.
or as I always refer to it in my van rides, money lap, right? Somebody's complaining at lunch with 0 leads. Dude, we got money lap coming up. Like, it's fine. Get it out of your head. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know you can do this. Talk like that. Money lap. Talk about money. Reaping the harvest. Now, this is typically, let's just say in this scenario above, 3:45 till 6:15. What type of people are you talking to specifically around 3:45 to 4:45?
The homeowners.
So there's waves, right? Right around 3 p.m. What happens?
Kids get back from school.
School. So right around 3 p.m., right when you're getting back from lunch, you're gonna have a new wave of people home. The parent that is responsible for being with the kids home from school. Right off the bat, you're getting new faces. Then what happens at 5?
Most people are home from work.
Most people are home from work. What is the trend of these people, right? Usually dual income, 2-legged. They have money. They want to upgrade. These people you will never catch on this lap ever during the week because they work. These are the yeses, dude. These are your probability of a yes on the second lap is completely reversed from what it is on the first lap. They're all qualified. Your expectations here 10 to 15 talk tos, 3 to 5 leads. Right. So now we look at this scenario. Let's say it was low end all day. You got 0 on your first lap. Statistically, on your second lap, you should end with 3. That's what we expect you to get every day. Let's say you end with 3 on your first lap. 5. That was you yesterday. That's an 8 day. I would always make my personal goals talk to goals. I would always want 15 qualified talk tos on my first lap, usually producing 3 leads on my first lap. Now, something to be aware of. The second lap, 345 to 615, is when it's juiciest, right? So here's a little bar graph. And this is time. And this is probability of a lead. Right? So over time throughout the day, probability of a lead goes up. Now, let's say this is reps, energy. Usually, right? They're tired at the end of the day, right? These, you need to somehow get to meet in the middle. Keep their attitude and their energy up when they can make the most money. And sometimes that's hard when they have 0 at lunch. But if you know these concepts, refer to the gumball theory, 0 at lunch, dude, this is good. It's exactly what you're supposed to have. You got all those no's out of the way, trust me. You got your red sheet, money lap, right? All of these things actually make practical sense. That's true. This is when you can make your most money. You're just from talking to these people. Simple concepts that reps won't understand fully until they see it for themselves. What is last thing I'm gonna do on somebody can get one more field point today. What is the one key to making sure that the garden theory can and will work?
Your red sheet.
There we go. 2. Jacob and Mike said it. I'll give you both one. Cool. Any questions on what we covered today, you guys?
I thought we were gonna go over field points too. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we are. I want to get you guys. It's already 9:50. So what I'm gonna do is let's get everybody here at 8:45 tomorrow. We'll dedicate the first 15 minutes to updating the field points. I'm also going to be sending you guys a day 1 and day 2 quiz in a couple hours. Have that completed by tomorrow morning too. It's only going to be like 15 questions. So we'll start off the day tomorrow. We'll update the quiz points and the field points because a lot of awesome stuff happened in both offices. A lot of good work. Keep getting back to me today with your field points. I have my notebook each day, what you guys sent me. So we'll go over and we'll discuss. And here's the other thing too. What I liked about what something that Tim and Mike both did, you guys did too, I guess, is it doesn't have to be a positive. If you text me about advice on a situation you're dealing with in the field, that is very useful for this class because then we can talk about it. And typically when we start at 8:45, that's what that first 15 minutes is dedicated to. So we'll probably spend a good amount of time on just actual scenarios that you guys came across this week, starting tomorrow, and we'll update the board here. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8:45.
See you tomorrow.
Let me get in this. Where's the jump? Good luck today.